Welcome to Comics Experiment right here at the Comicstorian channel, streamed live at twitch.tv/Comicstorian every Thursday at about 2 p.m. Eastern. Things may look a little weird right now, right? And you might be thinking around like, who are all these people? Well, let me explain that to you. You guys know me because this is the Comicstorian channel, but that is Sal from ComicPOP. See, I'm pointing at my screen. I have no idea how Dylan's going to set this up because that's Dylan, one of our editors, and also on the What If channel, What If show on our channel. Yeah. And someone you guys don't recognize, Des from Dopespill Comics. We just had a great panel with him over at the At Home Comic Con, which is an event that was just put on at the At Home Comic Con channel over on YouTube and Twitch. One day I'll learn where that was located. We thought, you know what? This groundbreaking news needs to be discussed with him and Dylan immediately following the show. So today is a very special, very weird comics experiment. And today's episode is brought to you by Honey. Discount search and Chrome extension. Get it free by going to joinhoney.com/RNBE. Honey is a free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. But as usual, I'll tell you about them in the middle of today's episode. So, I want to try and make your cuts as clean as possible, Dylan, because of the nature of today. Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have 4 cameras to switch between this time, though, so there will be very clean cuts.
Okay.
I'll be able to make.
You'll just get Sal's face when I mess up things.
I love Sal.
Perfect.
Sal, you're so good at the like I'm on camera all the time and I don't know when I'm not going to be face.
Yeah.
It's very good because like I know when I'm not going to show myself, so I can be like
Exactly. No, I know it's rolling, and yeah.
For me, I've done this so long that I just stopped caring.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, look, I'm on camera. So anyway, guys. So, okay, you're probably wondering, why is this a weird episode? Why do we have Dylan? Why do we have Dez? What is going on? Where's Comics Experiment? First off, Comics Experiment has been on hold because of the COVID situation. I am all about trying to bring you guys a high-quality podcast, which we were unable to do during the situation. We have officially got a fix that involves the cat behind Dylan.
Don't speak. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is.
Now, we officially got an answer. We're going to send cameras and audio equipment to every one of our normal hosts. In that way, following this episode, you'll get a regular episode once again. Might look a little weird, but you're going to get it. But our initial answer for this week's episode was on Tuesday, Sal and I filmed our show Absolute Comics, in which we discussed the latest news on the comic book front. The latest news at the time was that Diamond was discussing shutting down until August, meaning no new comics being distributed until August, which was going to be bad for writers,
Pretty
artists,
rough for everybody.
YouTubers who make their money off comic books, of which there are 4 of here on the Today Show. And then yesterday, as we were preparing the episode, big news dropped to the point, and anybody who watches the show knows I don't like doing topical stuff, but this is big enough. We wanted to tell you about it ASAP. So yesterday, Diamond came out and announced that they will be trying to get back in stores by mid to late May. DC responded with, "We'll be back April 28th with new distributors and new rules." And that is what we are here to discuss today, how that's going to change the market. Now, I do want to say one thing, because Tuesday I made a big stink about how I made a tweet, and the tweet said that comics are changing, they're not dying, and I got in a huge Twitter argument with a bunch of people. I'll tell you what, I'm super bored right now. You want to argue on Twitter? This is the time to hit me. I am doing nothing else.
Got time for that.
Exactly. Yeah. This is exactly what I was talking about. Comics are changing, and that's what we're going to discuss today. And don't worry, Des, we're going to talk about Dopespill towards the end. I know I didn't give you a proper intro, but we're going to talk about you.
That's cool.
So everyone, you've never been on our show, even though people have asked you for quite a while now.
I appreciate it.
So,
appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you for being here. Thank you for finding the time. I know we had to time it perfectly after the Comic-Con thing, but it works, right? It works out well.
Absolutely.
So, Sal, since I have been rambling my butt off for, God dang, 10 minutes, 30 seconds. I doubt that's all going to go in, but
yeah, probably not. But yeah, man, let me tell you, my Twitter blew up like yesterday because that was when we got all this news, and I was tweeting it like as it was happening and as I got more and more information about what was going on. But DC, and at the time of this recording, only DC, not Dark Horse, not Marvel, not Image, not Boom, anybody. Just DC has announced that they are
I do want to clarify, I did Google it to make sure that at the time of this recording, no big name came out and said anything.
Oh, no, so, if they did, we would have gotten a notification about it. The fact is, only DC has made the determination. They're like, yo, here's our plan. 1, screw Diamond. We'll still work with them if they want when they get back, but we have these 2 distributors. And these 2 distributors are going to handle the coastal distribution of DC Comics. So one distributor is going to handle the West Coast, the other one will handle the East Coast, which actually settles an argument what we've had about the fact that, like, when both coasts kind of closed and had more strict COVID-19 responses, the comic book industry just went, oh, screw it, because like those are where the biggest sales are for retail comic outlets. My assumption is that those distribution houses will also like kind of meet in the middle and disseminate the comics thereof. But
no, for what I read, the West Coast house is also going to be catering to Midwest.
There you go. Okay, so the East Coast house will just do the East Coast, and then the West Coast will handle that and Midwest. It's interesting because they basically just said these 2 new distribution houses are going to do the distribution for us, and April 28th, here come the books on Tuesday, not Wednesday, Tuesday. That was the big announcement from DC. The amount of books that are being released, pretty small sampling. Not a big,
but it's not all big names like I thought. I want to throw that out there.
Batman 93 won't come out until June.
Yeah.
Huh. But
we are getting other things like The Dreaming, Daphne Byrne, Batman Giant, Hawkman,
House of Whispers.
Yeah. I think Hawkman is coming out May 5th. Actually, my bad. So April 28th.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. DC is not just coming out this Tuesday. Their plan is every Tuesday. From this point forward, I cannot think of a time comics have ever changed the Wednesday release date.
Not in our lifetime.
No.
Is there I don't really know the history of the, like New Comic Book Day, Wednesday. Is there a reason why it was Wednesday and kept being that way?
I assume it's just when they had one distributor, they went, well, it's only going to be the one day, and I distribute all the books, and you like retailers all got them on the same day, so we might as well put them out on the same day. This has incredible ramifications that I haven't really even had a chance to process yet. The idea because I
thought they did it as an offset, like with. Because usually, like, when stuff goes to DVD or digital, they come out around, like, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And movies will come out a couple on Wednesday, but mainly Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's right.
So I thought Wednesday was kind of like that opening spot to release comic books or some type of content where people had a little bit of air to breathe and make a purchase on a day where nothing else was coming out.
That's certainly a smart move. I think it coincided with that really well. I don't know if it was
I actually thought that was the reason too. I agree with him on that because back when I first moved to Colorado, I would go get my new video games on Tuesday because this is back when they only came out on Tuesday.
Right.
And then you had your comic books on Wednesday.
Yep.
Thursday I would do nothing, and then Friday I'd go see the new movie.
Right.
That was my week when I first came to Colorado. So
yeah.
Now video games come out whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was a good plan, but that's over. And if you think that Marvel's going to go, yeah, Tuesday sounds good, we'll do that. Like, there's no way. Particularly because Marvel floods the market with like double the books than DC. So I feel like, we talked about this off mic, but the idea that when we do hear from Marvel, I'll bet they have another release date, and it isn't going to be Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
My idea was Marvel Monday or Monday Marvel. It just flows well.
Yeah.
It does have a ring to it.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I wonder how the retail market has responded to this, because you can imagine that retailers are like happy they're getting new books, but also kind of like, well, I used Tuesdays to kind of like put all the books out.
Right.
But now I gotta dedicate an extra several hours of my day every day. Like let's say they do it. Let's say Marvel Mondays, DC Tuesdays, and then everybody else Wednesdays. That
Wild
means,
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wild Wednesday. My assumption is now if I were a retailer, I'd be excited because it means that instead of me getting a big day on Wednesday, I have customers pretty much
out,
every day. There's a new batch of customers.
I mean, you got to think though, especially with most comic book stores who also dabble in like Magic and D&D. D&D you could easily put on your Thursday. You could Magic is typically done on Friday Night Magic, hence its name, and you would have a full week of people coming in for comics, cards, board games. It would just, and that's actually one thing I wanted to clarify. DC stated that after surveying more than 2,000 stores across the U.S. and Canada, it's become clear that many comic book store owners are finding new and creative ways to get the books to the fans that want them. Now, this I agree with. This is part of what me and Sal were saying. When they shut down, it was like they're doing curbside delivery. They're still delivering books out there. They're direct shipping the books.
Yep.
And Diamond just kept dropping the ball. I don't know how closely, Des and Dylan, you guys were following the Diamond situation, but every week was like a new knee-jerk reaction to the whole situation from Diamond.
Right. Yeah.
Just to give you guys a recap, so you guys both know, and anybody in our audience who knows what's been going on with Diamond, when this first happened, Diamond just initially said, we're not shipping new books. We're not receiving them, which put DC and Marvel and everyone else in a hard place because they had nowhere to send the new books to. So DC, Marvel, and everyone else had to also shut down production. Following that, Diamond then came out and said, we're only going to pay back 25% of what we owe to the publishers. We're going to defer the other 75% months down the line.
Yep.
Sal's theory was that way if they declare bankruptcy, they don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Then they came back, and apparently Diamond was laying off most of their staff, but also reopening to empty out the warehouse. They weren't taking new product. They said they would ship out any old product that anybody ordered.
Yep.
But since you couldn't get it to your house, you had to order it you couldn't get it to your store. You had to order it to your house.
If you were a retailer, they were going to ship it to retailers' homes, and then they would figure out what to do with the books at their houses.
Every week was like a new, weird, shady move from Diamond up to this point. And DC and Marvel just stayed quiet the whole time, not saying anything. And then the latest was them stating, okay, we're going to try to be back mid to end of May. And then DC just saying, we're done.
Yeah.
Now the other probably the right move.
Well, I wanted to get their opinions on this whole Diamond situation before. Yeah, unless you have something to add to the Diamond portion.
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay. What do you guys think about that? The what led to this?
I feel like they handled this situation like really poorly. I mean, and you guys talked a lot about this a lot in the Absolute Comics episodes, but like, I don't know how Diamond has been the sole distributor of comics this whole time. Like, that's strange to me. But you know, when you're like stuck with a situation like this, it's like kind of upsetting that there weren't, like, this is a weird situation, but that there's not a plan in place for something like this is worrying and really, like, I'm sure woke up a lot of companies in DC especially to be like, hey, maybe we should distance ourselves from Diamond.
I would hope, right?
Yeah. Like, it's probably time to either set up your own infrastructure or look into other companies that smaller comic companies have been using. But yeah, this I mean, it goes back to the whole, like, this whole COVID situation being, like, obviously a curse, but, like, there are some good sides to it as well.
Right.
Like, you know, like, Sal, you talked about a lot, people, like, companies realizing that, hey, maybe we don't need a giant office that people have to come into every day, and stuff like that. Like, you know, shows like this can happen at home and stuff.
You're just happy we invited you back.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's I hope this is a wake-up call to like, especially the big two, and it looks like DC they're on their way there, but I hope Marvel, like, follows suit and is like, okay, maybe let's diversify a little bit and not just stick with this one, like, not put all of our eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about the whole thing, Des? You got anything to add to this?
Yeah, he just pretty much said what I was thinking as far as everybody putting all their eggs in one basket, and it's like DC has been either looking for another basket since this one has been kind of, you know, tossing things side to side with all the issues that have been popping up over the past few weeks. And it sounds like a good solution on DC's part. I'm not sure how I feel about the Tuesday release, but I do think that it'll at least open things up to where if something happens to the one big basket, not so many people are affected.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I agree. This was a wake-up call in general. There's a lot of companies that I know that are just kind of changing their formats in general. They're testing out different things. One thing that Sal and I said on the episode that you can catch on the Absolute Comics channel just because it will still go out there, but it's not coming over here. We didn't understand why this was an issue. It's not like DC's some mom and pop shop that has no access to distributors. And the same thing with Marvel. Like 2 seconds of a Google, I found a Disney distributor that would just pass out comics. Like, why is this even an issue?
Like, doesn't Disney publish other books and other comics that aren't funneled through Marvel?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, whoa, why?
Well, it just demonstrates that they don't understand what they have.
Yeah.
And they don't really care either. Because they're kind of just like, well, okay, so that's the number one. It's literally the number one Western comic book publisher that we own. But I don't trust them enough to be able to print like Uncle Scrooge or random Spider-Man and Avengers books. Like, what? Don't you know who you have?
Right.
Like, Marvel who?
That's the movie company, right?
That's the brand I own.
Yeah.
Like, they also publish books. Nah, I don't care about that. The other thing that's interesting, and it's another facet to this whole thing, is that the two distribution houses that are coastally distributing these new DC books seemingly is owned by Midtown Comics.
Wait, are they?
Yeah, I think I heard rumblings of this.
Now, that's a rumor, and I don't want to get too far away, but, like, according to the GoDaddy registries of both websites, which, by the way, were registered on the same day in the same week at the, like, from the same place.
That is genius on Midtown Comics' part.
Midtown Comics is their distributor, basically. And Midtown Comics, of course, has been a comic book distributor, nationally at least, for years, because a lot of people buy their comics if they don't have access to a store and they want still physical copies. They get them from Midtown Comics.
Yeah, back a long time ago when I was still living with my parents and I didn't have access to a car. There was a period for like a month where I ordered floppies weekly from Midtown, and they would show up on my doorstep, and that's how I got my comics for a while.
Yeah, my entire Hush run is from Midtown Comics when I was in college.
Apparently, Midtown also handles the fulfillment of Marvel subscription copies.
That's what I was gonna ask, because I remember back in the day I went on Marvel's website and they had an option just on Marvel.com to buy comics, and I was like, what? Who's distributing these?
Yeah, and why aren't they just doing that?
Right.
Why even bother with Diamond?
And it's like
is it
it's
just so
hidden
retailers
away.
can get one big box? Like, no.
Yeah. It's like you have to go to like the weird. It's like one tiny hyperlink that's just text in the corner of one of the comic pages. It's like, you can buy this, and it's not clear if it's physical or not. But
I wonder if you clicked on it, like, what would have happened? Like,
it's very strange.
I'm gonna find out.
Let's buy some books right now.
No, that's really interesting. And I wonder if part of their pitch was, we'll get your books out on Tuesday. You'll be ahead of Marvel. Make us your only distributor, and we'll make two distributors. So there's two houses. So if something happens to one, you have another one, and we'll get you out a day ahead. Look, we're doing it with Marvel, and I guarantee you Marvel's already talking to them.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind, based on the complete lack of... It's so easy for a company like Marvel, or from anybody that, for that matter, to issue a statement in response to this. And I know that there's no way that Newsarama, CBR, Bleeding Cool, and a number of other outlets didn't push Marvel for comment yesterday when all this was hitting the fan at like 10 in the morning East Coast time. So there's no way that Marvel didn't know this was happening or were aware and couldn't have written some BS copy that said something like, Marvel Comics is dedicated to the distribution of comic books, and we're very excited about the possibilities that this presents. But right now, Marvel Comics is not prepared to make any kind of determination at this time. Like, we're really excited about what we're planning, and please stay tuned. Like, it could have been very simple, but instead nothing, which says to me that there's absolutely a meeting going on. But the fact that DC was like, yo, here's the plan, says to me that it was not a bipartisan deal, so to speak. Marvel and DC did not both come to the table and go, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do with the industry. That DC was like, here's what we're going to do with the industry for ourselves. There isn't even like a DC where they're like, DC is saying this, and they're like, and we're really excited about doing this with Boom and IDW. Like, nothing. Just DC.
Well, there is
no
a theory
comment.
going around. So there was a rumor happening that DC just was not renewing with Diamond.
Right.
So if that's true, and this is made up by Midtown, what's the date on that? When the corporations are created? Do you have the date on that, Sal?
Oh yeah, I think it was April 8th.
Okay. Sounds to me like this was already in the talks, and once I have a feeling once Diamond officially said, by the way, we're not going to pay what we owe, everyone's like, yeah, you want to move forward with that other plan?
That was day one. Yeah, no way. When Diamond started to... Here's the thing. When Diamond defaulted on their first week's bills, that was probably when they started actually having a serious conversation about it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, makes me crazy, because like their conversation should have started when they couldn't get books to stores. Like when Diamond closed and they went, shit, one company, right.
Well, I
Like,
will
that
say
was
this,
the
in the defense
conversation
of
they
that
should have had.
decision, Diamond has, for the most part, been okay. And if at the initial announcement of not taking a new product, they had nothing else said.
Right.
So you didn't know, they're going to be back next week. You don't know, like...
No, it's true, but like, but we did have to assume based on their location and the fact that like they're a business and not essential, that like they were going to be closed at least for a few weeks. So that's 2 to 4 weeks worth of no sales.
Oh, I met this guy, the guy that owns Diamond.
Oh yeah.
He seemed really weird.
I hope he's not watching.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy watches our podcast.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole thing, Des? I know you're kind of new to the show, so you're just kind of listening in right now, but I want to give you some moments to talk here. What do you think about this whole thing?
I don't know. It is strange time, strange situation. But I just hope whatever it comes to, that it does pull some type of solution from Marvel or from Disney to have a solution for Marvel to distribute comics. Because I still like to have that option to get, certain issues, even though I'm digital for the most part. I still like the option to get certain issues on a paperback, And I know there's a lot of people out there who prefer all paperback issues. So it's really the sooner the better as far as getting that out. And then overall having it at least take away the hiatus of new releases as well. Like, what was they saying before, like August or something like that?
Yeah, that was the original plan. Now it's like mid to late May.
Yeah, well, I think it's because of the backlash they got when they said, we might not be back till August. And everyone's like, are you
and
stupid?
I think that was honestly a more like honest and realistic expectation. Like I think they were like, we could lie and say May, but we'd have to lie to them again after May comes up and we're going to be more like July. And they're like, no. If we say August, it'll give us time to really prepare. We can like get our ducks in a row, and then we can like get ready to go like mid-July.
Right. Well, so what I think was going on, I think this is actually the world as a whole, as of events happening with the COVID situation, everything is starting to reopen if you're unaware of that. So New York and Pennsylvania have now put out, and this is at the time of this and when I last saw it, official decrees of like you can go out and do certain things, but you need your mask. You have to wear a mask everywhere you go. Florida just reopened its beaches yesterday, and they said only for exercise, no sunbathing, don't hang out on the beach. Followed immediately by selfies of everyone going to the beach and hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can't go to the beach. Like,
God.
So you have to wear a mask to the beach. You're going to have like tan lines on your face.
It's the new trend.
I know multiple countries have reopened officially to get their economies going again. And so what I feel like when they announced August, that was still in the uncertainty of like, this could go months.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see what months would look like. And the world is like, we can't technically do that. But from the looks of things, they're just going to kill sporting events, concerts, anything over 50 people. Yep. They're going to keep it small people for the most part and social distancing for the next year, potentially. Because if you don't know, there's talks about San Diego Comic-Con potentially being either postponed or canceled for 2
Oh, it's over. San Diego ain't happening.
I would
No,
say
next year.
That should be
Next year. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I read that. What was it? The governor suggested like I'll close it I'll close next year's too. You don't know. But I want to be prepared.
Same deal though. That would
Threatening
kill
them.
the San Diego economy. I guarantee you, San Diego Comic-Con will officially move. Cool.
yeah,
You
all
want to
those-
close it next year? We got other places to go.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, that's tough.
Yeah. So, but there was talks about apparently 12 months to 18 months is how long the vaccine's going to take to come out. So until we have a vaccine, there's talks of them just leaving everything shut down that's over 50 people. And that's why if 18 months would be October 2021. So that's why San Diego was like, we might push it till after that point and go from there. But I mean, everything as far as I've seen past August is just up in the air at the moment. I got an email yesterday because I go to the Colorado Symphony for whenever the Final Fantasy guys come through and do their concerts. And I got the email that the one in Denver got postponed and it'll be they've planned it for January 2021. So I feel like 2 weeks ago there was talks about, oh my God, it could be a year and a half.
Yeah.
And now everyone's like, okay, how can we make this work? We can't just stay in our house for 2 years.
No, well, I mean, you can. It's just like you can't have an entertainment industry after that.
Yeah, you'll kill. I mean, there's talks about AMC closing down for good.
Well, they're filing for bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy, yeah.
But not Chapter 7, which means liquidation. So, I mean, my assumption, every mass gathering that makes its money hand over fist every day, I mean, like, the fact that Disney is now, stocks-wise, worth less than Netflix is a pretty big indication that, like, mass gatherings have taken a significant hit. We will see that resurge when things get better, but for now, like, they're taking such a hit that basically anybody who isn't Disney probably won't be able to weather it for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so like zoos, you know, places that don't get public funding and places that don't have like tremendous stockpiles
Disney has
of cash.
leveled back out. They've gone back up.
Yeah.
But no, I know exactly what you're saying. And that's something I've been saying since the beginning. As much as I agreed with your early discussion, Sal, that we just need to shut down for a year, the economy can't take that. And the people, the bigwigs aren't going to let that happen. So it's going to come down to personal choice of like, hey, are you scared of the virus? Don't go outside. Like,
yeah.
so it's interesting to see how all of this is going on. But I think 2 weeks ago, August was like, oh, well, maybe that'll happen, you know? And now it's like, oh, wait, things are starting up again. Like right now, Colorado, they're saying the 24th. Like 24th, we're kicking it all back off unless they extend it again.
I think that's very dangerous. I wouldn't agree with that.
Agree.
But that's the 24th of what, April?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's way too soon.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy getting sick. No thanks. I'll pass.
I'm seeing if they have any other latest things, but the stay-at-home quarantine is ending on the 24th.
Because you know what I haven't seen? Like I've seen legislators, I've seen governors, I've seen citizens saying like things are getting better. I haven't seen any medical professionals or members of the CDC or WHO saying that. I've only seen people who have a vested interest in saying that. And that says to me that they value their profits over my safety, and I'm going to take a pass on that one. Thank you. Like,
Same here.
No. I'm just not going to do that.
So,
like, I don't buy it until I get an official word from an actual trusted source.
Right. What about where you're at? I don't know what's the situation where you're at, Des. Are you like fully quarantined in? Are you like wearing a bodysuit to leave? Are you Purell bathing when you come home?
I mean, I'm down here in Atlanta, and I mean, for the most part, as far as what's shut down, there's a lot of things closing early. So stuff like grocery stores, they'll close around like 7 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock. Same thing with like restaurants. But for the most part, there's still people out there moving around. Anytime I run to the store, I do see a lot of people either trying to either walk their dog or get some type of exercise or stretch their legs outdoors or something like that. But for the most part, the only things that are really open are like the necessities, like either food for takeout or something, no dine-in, or grocery stores that I've seen. But for the most part, I've been at home, so. That's just what I've seen like around the area.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I got the article here for the Colorado. April 26th, they're going to reopen certain things. They don't think restaurants and bars will open immediately, but they're going to start letting non-essential businesses restart.
What does that mean?
With restrictions of putting people on different shifts, creating makeshift barriers to separate your employees, things like that. And basically what the governor is stating is if that works, we'll continue to open things. And if it doesn't, we're going to go back.
Yeah. Right. Only if it doesn't work and you have to go back, you got to go back harder,
Right.
because you essentially need to be able to go back in time and make it so you didn't make that boneheaded decision in the first place. If like in New Jersey, we have to wear masks if we go in a store. Straight up, that's how it is. Most grocery stores, their policy is you can't come in unless you're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
For me, that says it ain't getting better. If I am mandated to protect myself to go to a place that 2 weeks ago I didn't, that does not say getting better to me. That says that they've come up with new precautions to make people feel safer, but it doesn't actually have a quantifiable solution. And if I have to wear a mask to go to the movies, for example, I don't feel safer.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the mask situation, because like I said, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, they're starting to put out these
Rhode
mandates
Island,
to wear
yeah.
masks. I feel like on one hand, it's because it's not as effective at stopping things as everyone likes to think it is. It is going to stop certain things. It's not like
It's better than nothing.
Right,
but yeah.
exactly. It's better than nothing. But I think part of the everyone wear a mask situation is to one, because like I always joke around with Natalie, she's like, "Oh, put a mask on," and I'm like, "Well, unless somebody comes up and coughs on me, first I'm going to knock on the ground. Secondly, I should be mostly safe." But I think it's for the people who will run up and cough. Like, you're going to have those psychos who are going to do stupid things. They're going to cough on the food and things like that. And I also think it's to keep you aware we're not back to normal. If everyone's wearing a mask when I go outside, even if you say we're back to normal,
It don't look normal to me.
but we are back to normal. You know?
No, that's true. I mean, in Asian countries and in certain areas here in Jersey, like I see people like wearing masks when they're sick.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, is like they're doing it for your protection.
Right.
Like, they're wearing it to contain what they have. But if everyone has to wear one, just on the off chance, because that's the thing, is that like, let's say, you know, like I see a lot of people breaking quarantine because they're like, well, I self-quarantined for 2 weeks and I'm good.
Like, no.
So then you go out. And it's like, well, every 2 weeks. Like, so it's like you go out and then you got to wait for 2 weeks because you might have gotten it by that, like at that time. Like, so you don't know anything. Like you're just saying random things so that you have a mental justification for going outside. And like, I appreciate, like, I make my money. We all make our money off of frivolities, off of things that don't matter. We are not essential services. We make our money off of non-essential services.
We were.
Listen, for many people we are in terms of like mental respite, but on the surface, like we are not an essential service. So my sympathies go out to the entertainment industry and to non-essential services that are feeling the pinch. But if I have to die for you to live, eat it. I'm not gonna. And that's how it is across the board, right? I mean, like literally, you will protect yourself over all others, or your children if you have children. I'm sorry, entertainment industry, but I just don't care enough about like another season of The Mandalorian versus the stigma of Thanksgiving if I kill my dad because he has COPD.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm gonna take a pass on that.
Yeah.
And like and because that's the thing, is that I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing, like, I saw there's an article like the other day about how the comic book industry is like, we're ready to reopen pretty soon. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're not ready. You may just do it anyway, but like,
Right.
I mean, like, if you go to any back issues bin, they're covered in dust. Like, every comic book store I have ever been to has some huge collection of dust on their back issues, especially if they have dollar comics or quarter bins. You know, whether you go through them or not doesn't mean that it's not there and isn't a problem. And that's like in good conditions. When you're leafing through them, you get like dust. And if you're having an allergy to dust or you have an issue with that, boom, you're going to be affected.
Right.
Now imagine that you're going into a comic book store where people who may or may not be infected with this virus are leafing through all the books, or just grabbing them, looking at them, putting them back on the shelf.
I think you just made Des stay home even more for digital.
Well, I understand you're mostly
You
digital,
know what?
and
I'm
I
going
completely get
all
it.
digital now. I'm not even
Well,
going.
and the fact is, like, this does affect the digital market because, like, and we haven't talked about this ever, is the fact that, like, the digital market responds to the physical market.
Right.
That and you can't have your books. Like, even it's like for the smaller percentage of people who only are digital. And Benny and I also buy a lot of digital books versus physical, but I like having a lot of physical as well. so I don't go to my comic book store as frequently, so it doesn't affect me as much. But the digital thing is, okay, why do I have to suffer? Like, why is it that why can no one have comics just because the retail outlets can't have comics? Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting conversation. I think that, I have sympathy for the retail outlets, and I know that, like, they are the number one, like, place people buy comics.
Real quick, like, Sal, hold on, just real quick. The opinions of Sal are for him and him only. The rest of us do enjoy retail comics, so we like going to the store.
I go to stores every week. I'm just saying that, like, an argument can be made for why we can't. Like, for the discussion should be there about, like, hey.
I think I probably have an answer to that, and I believe that the reason why both are put on hiatus, because it's almost like because if they continue to be released, if comics continue to get released in digital that are not getting printed out, it'll be like, why would people have a reason to buy the prints after people have gotten so far ahead with the digital copies? So it's like you're killing one market because of by feeding only the other one.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they're trying to hold both as a balance, which for me, it in my mind, it gives it more of a sense of urgency to bring both back. So the digital is depending now on the prints to continue to thrive and continue.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, I completely agree, and I understand the rationale. I remember when Comicsology came on the scene and retail outlets went, "We're done. We're toast. It's over." Like, literally, like, the prevailing argument from the retail outlets that I saw and from the collection of retail outlets that had backlash against Comicsology and digital first books were, it's over. If people have the option of not getting physicals, they won't take it. Goodbye. Like, and I'm like, and what's amazing is how wrong they were.
Right.
Because you see in every conversation that I have about this, and I've had like 4 online, like 4 videos in which we talked about this, in every comment section, it's a vast majority of people who, by the way, bafflingly will say, if comics go digital only, I'm going to leave the comic book industry entirely. Which, by the way, I think is horseshit. Yeah. But I do believe that, like, that people are preferentially predisposed to physicals, and as we've seen from numbers in our previous episode of Absolute Comics, which you should absolutely watch, Benny and I noticed from the collection of Comicron and another company that digital is a drop in the bucket compared to the comic book market.
That episode won't go live right away because of the fact that it got canceled. So what he's talking about is we finally had a record of what was sold physical and digital. The industry as a whole makes about $1 billion a year. That's it, $1 billion. To which I loved the response to Twitter. People are like, Betty, you said it's a small industry. $1 billion small? I'm like, one Avengers movie beats that.
Relatively speaking.
That's one Venom movie.
That's one Venom movie. That is one Wonder Woman movie. That is a small industry, okay?
Yeah.
And out of that, only 100,000 or 100 million was digital sales.
You know what else is digital?
What?
This portal that's going to open into the adverse.
Dylan's like, I don't want to find a weird spot to put it. Open a portal, Betty.
I have to pee so bad. I will be right back.
Honey is a browser extension that allows you to find the best prices in seconds while shopping on Amazon. Hate trying to decide between different highly rated vendors? Or are you feeling misled by low prices but high shipping costs? Honey searches and calculates all prices, including shipping, helping you save as much money as possible. We use it ourselves when buying things for the office or for the set to make sure that we get the best deal. One of the best things about the extension is how easy it is to use and how much easier it makes shopping for frugal people like us here at Comicstorian. Honey has over 100,000 5-star reviews on the Google Chrome store, so you know it's a good product. In fact, Time Magazine even said it's basically free money. So next time you go to shop on Amazon, be sure to use the Honey browser extension to find the best deal and add Honey today for free at joinhoney.com/RNBE. That's joinhoney.com/RNBE to download the extension and start saving money by getting the best deals today. Dylan's back for peeing.
Close the portal. Oh, I guess I have to keep in the part where I say I had to pee real bad.
Yeah, because I opened a second portal there.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, no.
So yeah, $100 million comes out of the digital sales in general. I will say, I think their concern is if you start getting used to digital, you will abandon.
I agree entirely.
Because look at the movie market has stayed where people still want to buy Blu-rays and DVDs, right? But the video game market, thanks to Steam Store, PlayStation Store, like I'm not the only one who is just I'm all digital my gaming at this point.
I am as well.
Same.
And I'll say like
my
in
Switch
terms
is preloaded. I can like it's 9 o'clock here. Boom, I'm on.
The only physical Switch game I have is Ring Fit, and that's because there isn't a digital version for it.
Well, you can't. You must have something.
I have physical copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake only because Square Enix sent them to me.
Yeah, wait.
When they sent it over, I was like, thank you guys so much. Well, my digital one's downloaded.
Yeah, a friend of mine just got his too. You got the one with like the statue and everything?
Oh yeah, it's sitting over there on my PlayStation.
Oh man, that's crazy.
I will say, in relation to comics, like speaking from personal experience, I basically started the shift over to digital a few years ago when I just didn't have room anymore for physical stuff. And my solution to that, because I do still want to support brick and mortar stores, is I will buy all of my like current floppies on like Comixology, and then I'll go to stores to buy books that I'm trade waiting in trade. So I kind of strike that balance, but
I've got about 10 books I'll still buy physical.
Yeah,
they're the ones that go in the collection.
Right.
I get all the variants, that kind of like the Batman, Flash, Spider-Man, that kind of thing.
And I feel like that's the way that the industry could go. There is definitely there's a plan that could be set in place where it is the majority a digital thing, but there is a physical option, whether it be like collections or like per order prints. Some situation to satisfy both people without like, and again, Sal, like you said, those people who are saying like, I will never read digital comics, like no, like.
Oh no, I wanted to comment on that real quick before we change over to, because I also want to go over what books are coming out and see what you guys think about it. Okay, because I know you read a lot of comics, Des, you read a lot of comics, Dylan. I want to get you guys' opinions on these being the stories they chose to continue with for now. But the I will never read digital argument. Here's what I see happening to those people. If you're a diehard comic fan and you want your writers and artists to keep their jobs, and let's say physical shutdown, it's decided it's over. We're not doing it anymore, okay, in this world. And you have officially quit comics. I give those people no more than a year before they go, I wonder what's happening with Batman.
Yep.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Because they're gonna, they have these attachments to these characters that, like, they might be mad about the industry for a few months or a year or whatever.
Right. Oh, they will be, because if you've been reading comics 20 years through floppies,
that's not gonna go away.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna be like,
especially with comics.
Floppy.
Well, like, how many people do you know who like are you talk about like an issue from a run and they're like, oh, when will this writer stop writing this book? I hate it so much. And you're like, why don't you just stop buying the book? And they're like, well,
like half the people on Tom King.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Right.
Well, did you enjoy or not enjoy Tom King, Des?
Well,
Loved it.
You loved his run, his Batman run?
Fair enough.
Thank you. You're the only other person who does.
I like
you
half
and me, man.
I liked it up until the wedding.
That's half the run.
That's what I said. I liked half of it.
less than half. But
all right, it's you and me, man. Yeah, you're my new best comic book friend. All right, like Sal, go away. I'm replacing you.
Sal coerced me to his side because I remember vehemently fighting with Sal over Twitter, like, "No, it's good." And then the wedding happened, and I was like, "Oh no, Sal was right."
You have to see where it's going. You're like, "Oh, okay." And I know that, yeah. Well, you'll get a complete run with the out of continuity Batman and Catwoman book that he's working on.
Which, for the record, just 2-second caveat here. That makes no sense because she's still with him in the other book.
Yeah, but like they won't. But she
up.
won't be by the end.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
China is clearly doing something.
I don't know.
No, but like, because they needed a baby in the Batman Catwoman run.
Of course.
And
that is true. And it's what's crazy is a couple things. Because one, as far as the Tom King run, like in my mind, like as far as what it did to Nightwing, and which also picked up over Nightwing series, is like. Nightwing has just been spinning through this like limbo of changes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
don't you mean Rick?
Right, Rick Grayson now, Rick. But also on the other hand, like the whole thing with Batman and Catwoman and there needed to be a child, it's like I feel like that also points back to what's coming around or what was predicted in Doomsday Clock through Dr. Manhattan. So we'll see how that pans out and what it weighs into.
Yeah.
With them needing to find her eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
I kind of forgot everything that happened in Doomsday Clock except the ending because it took so long to come out and read.
Yeah.
You recapped it in like the
came out,
span
I'm
of a
like,
week.
oh yeah, we're still trying to fight. Okay.
Like, oh yeah, Doomsday Clock. That is a thing.
I'm still not sure where that lies in terms of continuity.
It doesn't.
I promise you, none of it will be.
It won't be. In like a
doesn't.
year, sure, but like right now, it's like, why is Wally West, what's happening? Are Superman's parents alive or not? Like,
Yeah, they are. By the way,
Okay, I'm not
just
reading
putting them in the
that.
book. No, not yet, but like they're in the book. Like,
Okay.
They just, and there'll be no story that explains.
No,
It's
of
just
course
like,
not.
Well, just they're back now.
Is Bendis
and they
still
always
on
were
it?
back.
Isn't that half of Bendis' run with the
Yeah,
Limited?
that's what I was
Oh,
gonna
by the way, John's older now because I want 2 Superboys, and Lois doesn't want to be married anymore. And
So she has her own apartment.
check out the
whatever,
card
it's
from
cool.
the first issue ever.
wow.
Cool.
You can tell we're
thanks.
big Superman fans right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good run.
So anyway, yeah, no, that's what I feel with the digital people that are like digital. No, I feel like if you're a Batman, a Superman, if you're a superhero fan, yes, I could see you being upset and not being a part of it for a little while. No different than dropping a run for a couple of months.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're gonna jump back on eventually. So I'm
It's
not
like
that
the-
worried.
Well, and my point was like they don't even drop the run. Like they buy books they hate. So
Yeah.
like you telling me you're not gonna just read what happens in Batman? Give me a break.
I think the only thing we would lose in long term, I'm talking long, like we've gone through the whole drop and then come back, and I think long term we would lose sales from collectors. I don't know how big the
probably.
direct collecting
Oh,
market
yeah, no,
is.
no.
I know it's big. Is it?
I'm sure it's a-
100
I'm sure
million,
it's
or
a-
is it 500 million of the 1 billion?
I'll bet it's like 500 million. There's no way that people don't just buy comics and then read them and throw them away. Like they collect them.
You don't. I throw mine away. I buy 2 issues, one to go in
I
the
shred
collection,
'em.
one to throw away.
I destroy them. Well, that way it creates scarcity, so
Exactly.
they're worth more.
Way
That's
back when
why
I started
comic will
this whole thing.
self-destruct.
What was that,
Yeah.
Des? Oh,
So this comic will self-destruct, Inspector Gadget.
the worst thing I ever did on my channel, way back when we first started, Des, is I went ahead and we did a series where we reviewed comics, and I was so mad that Green Arrow basically clickbaited with Batman on the cover. It is nothing more than a 2-second phone call that I ripped it on camera. And I got so much hate for ripping a comic in half.
Wow.
Oh god. That
But
reminds
you know, if you think about it, that happens a lot within comics, man. Like you'll see something on the cover and then you'll read the issue and it isn't something until like the last page.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
That it teases for the next issue.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
clickbait.
You're not wrong, and that was most people's
Yeah.
argument. Why would you rip that? It happens all the time.
I remember like during Secret Empire times when I forget which it was Steve Rogers issue 1 when he did the whole Hail Hydra thing. There was like a flood of people tagging Nick Spencer of videos of them lighting their copy of Steve Rogers on fire.
Yep.
I was like,
But
what
you
are
had to buy it
doing?
to do that. You had to buy it to do that. Though.
Exactly. It's like, what? Are you making
I
a
wonder-
statement?
I wonder how many people bought 2 or 3 of them so they can burn one.
Yep,
But
and then
I
keep
need
the
to
other.
have Hail Hydra in my collection.
Of course.
Well, I can
They have a
imagine
closet.
someone-
They have a secret passageway in their house with all Hell Hydra stuff.
Yeah, it's
Hidden
actually
shrine.
really my favorite run. I love it so much.
Oh,
All right,
People
so let's
know.
I can have Twitter
right.
now.
It's a secret.
let's start going to
Yeah.
the end of today's podcast. We're going to look at what's coming out. I want to get everyone's opinions on what because they're obviously not putting out the full DC run. So
Yeah.
these are the comics.
DC kicked in the door and they were like, "Hey, we're back, baby. Here's the lineup. What's coming?"
So I don't think they've announced 3 weeks out right now from what I've found on Polygon.
Yeah.
There may be more, but from what I'm seeing, they're not exceeding 7 books a week.
No.
So it's just a couple, probably to see if it could get passed out or if it's just going to get backlogged.
7 is a nice number to me. Like,
I like 7.
Can
I'll
Marvel do
probably
that
buy all
too?
of these. Yeah,
Right,
I don't even recognize 2 of these names, and I'll buy them.
sure.
Okay, so the first week I think is an interesting choice. The first, according to Polygon, and I couldn't find the original article. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can find that real quick. DC Comics coming out. Let me see if I
If
can
it's
fi-
something like 7 too, I think, like you said, that'll be something to let people know it's a smaller number, and they'll look into issues that they wouldn't usually read or
Right.
buy.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
It can introduce audiences to new content.
I mean, Sal and I argued that like every week they should do something similar. My argument is the big book should be physical, and then if you want to test stuff, throw those out on digital so you don't stick. You know how many times I walk into a comic book store and the crap superhero has 20 issues on the wall, and I know it's not selling.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, there is a bigger list than what I found. Okay, so. Oh, no, it's multiple covers. Oh, well, of course, we got to go with variants still.
Right. That's what drives
It is
the
DC
industry.
after all.
All right, so the 28th, we're going to get a reprint of 89. Now, you said 93 doesn't come out until June?
Until July or
Okay,
June?
so what they're probably doing is just reprinting everything from the Punchline run. You know what Punchline is, right? Okay. So 89 is getting a reprint, and then Batman Giant 4, something called Daphne Byrne with 2 covers.
Yeah, it's a Hill House book.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Andy's reading those. I don't read those traditionally, so. Dreaming number 20, that's the Neil Gaiman thing, right?
The Dreaming is Simon Spurrier, I believe.
Okay.
But it's the last issue of The Dreaming. Like, The Dreaming is ending.
Oh, okay. And then Nightwing 70, second printing. Wait, did he come back in that? Why do we have a second printing?
Yep.
He did come back?
70. I mean, well, from what I remember, I don't remember the issue number, but I know towards the end there was Rick Grayson did face off with William Cobb, who wanted to bring him to the Court of Owls, like around the time of Year of the Villain.
Yes, I remember
So
that.
he still has his consciousness. He's still with his new girlfriend, but that run is over. I'm not sure if they're reprinting just the end of that or just right after that.
Maybe.
But that's the last issue I read.
Okay, because I love Nightwing. I tried Rick Grayson, man. I couldn't even finish that first story. It was just okay, dude. Rick Grayson is not Dick Grayson in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't act like him. He doesn't have the same connections. His whole behavior is different.
That's the idea. That's why he's Rick.
Right, and that would have been fine if at the end of it we were, this is what you were like. We're getting closer to that. No, it's a different superhero. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like now that the guy who wanted that to happen is gone, he's gonna go away. So you're good.
Okay.
I was baffled when I read the Alfred one shot when the whole family got together and were like, scuffling around and Rick Grayson shuffles in. I'm like, this is still happening?
Right. It's going to be a really weird trade read for people when they're like, why is Dick being so weird? And it's like, is there a misprint? I'm 10-1 that like, no, I'm 50-50 odds that like for reprints, they're just going to change the Ricks to Dick in other people's books.
They might. What's crazy though is I remember during in Justice League during like the Justice Doom War, they also mentioned Rick for like one short part. I forget where we're at, but it was like Rick's not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I remember that. Like,
just change it.
Of all the things to just keep in continuity, we need to make you know that Rick is the guy right now.
Yeah.
Just so you know, he's
remember
still
that.
around. Right.
So it looks like we're getting 3 new issues, and we're getting 2 reprints on the 28th. So not this Wednesday. I don't think it's next Wednesday, right?
This Wednesday.
Oh, Tuesday, right? My bad. They're doing Tuesday now.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So actually, it's not this Tuesday. It's
Tuesday
next
after
Tuesday.
next. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. I guess they're getting reprints, getting you back in, probably just to see. And probably if no one buys those, the rest will suddenly disappear again.
That's the thing. Like they're really taking a big risk by taking the Sandman book that wasn't selling and they canceled unceremoniously as last issue to come out during this time to test whether or not people are going to buy books. But I'm glad that they're doing that at least because if no one goes, like if bi-coastally we're all just like nope, then they're gonna be like okay, all right, more like July. How about that? All right, Batman's coming out, guys. Come on.
So May 5th, which is another Tuesday, making this weird, is the first apparently new stuff that people are expecting. So we're gonna get Batman and the Outsiders, 2 issues, covers A and B. Which Batman and the Outsiders, if you're not reading, I think is great. But
cool.
I wish it would play into things. It just seems to be its own thing going on over there. DC Superstars, which I have not been following at all.
It's a facsimile book. It came out like the real issue came out forever ago.
Right. I don't know why they're reprinting that one, and I won't know until I see what's on the cover.
I don't know. It's from 76.
I'm looking it up real fast. Whatever. Anyway, and Flash 753 is coming out. Oh yeah, they left it
a
on the
big
big
one.
fight with Godspeed.
Yeah.
That's right. Like, isn't he about to have it, or he's teamed up with him, or something like that? It's a cliffhanger. I know that.
There's a book that I picked back up after leaving for a while, like a fan who refuses to read digital. Like I was tired of that book, but 750 brought me back into it, so that's fun.
Nice.
Okay, and an odd thing, that issue apparently Superstar 17 is the origin of the Huntress.
Yeah, maybe the daughter of actually that would be the daughter of Catwoman and Batman.
That's convenient.
Is
Is it that origin or the new one?
Later?
No, because the new one was post-Crisis, I think,
Okay.
and that was 73.
So
or
they're definitely
76.
setting up
Yes.
for whatever they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
So Flash 753, I'm going to click that to see which one it is just to make sure. But Green Lantern Season 2, if you're like Grant Morrison, that's his run that people love. I have fallen off of that hard. Mm-hmm. Hawkman 23, I think, is a weird decision to keep going during this. That wasn't canceled, was it?
Yeah,
It's still here.
I had no idea there was a Hawkman book until like 2 weeks ago. And I tweeted about it and I was like, there's a Hawkman book?
Yeah.
And everyone
It's
was like,
really
yeah, it's
good,
great.
too.
Yeah, I was
It's
like,
really-
okay, I will never read it.
Yeah,
It's really
Venditti.
good. It's like
supposed to
Indiana
come out 10
Jones
years
meets
ago.
Hawkman. Robert Venditti fixed Hawkman's origin for that.
That is
wow.
that is a feat. Now I'm interested.
It is.
Yeah, it's a Herculean task.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if it's going to stay in continuity or if we're just going to be like, oh, that was a footnote. It's back to being bullshit.
Right. Let's mess it up
Back to
again.
being everywhere.
Right.
House of Whispers, which is a Hill House book,
That's whatever the Sandman universe books were.
and Joker Harley, Criminal Insanity, 4 of 9. That's a 9-issue series?
That's a weird number for a
Yeah.
series.
Which
Right.
one is that one? Because they came out with like 4 Harley Quinn Joker-themed books all at the same time.
Yeah.
I lost
Right.
track of which is which.
They're all like premium format too, for some reason.
Yeah, which makes them all confusing because you're like, oh, it's the Black Label one. No, the other one.
Yeah,
None
this is
of
the other one.
Any of those sounds like you're excited for any of those, Dylan or Des? I know Sal doesn't give a shit about any of those books.
I will read Flash, and I'm always teetering on dropping it again. But
Right.
I'll read it. I'm still interested currently, but
Yeah.
nothing else. Like I like Batman, so I'm curious about the Batman and the Outsiders book, but I don't really care about any of the other characters that are on that book. So
The problem with Batman and the Outsiders is it's mostly Black Lightning and the Outsiders, but they don't want to put his name on the book, so it'll sell.
that makes sense.
Yeah. You mean like that Aquaman and the Others book?
And the others, Aquaman. and
Why
his
would you call it
bugs.
that? It's like your least favorite superhero and other characters.
Batman, the way if you're not following Batman and the Outsiders, it's Black Lightning, Orphan. I got to catch up on it, so I mean, if something drastically changed. But it's Black Lightning, it's Orphan, it's
Mr. Terrific.
Mr.
Is he on there?
Terrific.
Yeah.
What about the Terrifics?
Right, that's still going. I don't know. Is it? Yeah.
I need
look it
to
up.
pick back up the Terrifics. I do. I need to catch up on that.
I'm looking for right now to see who the team is.
Orphan's
But basically,
cool.
Batman has oversight of the team, but he's not
Sure.
on the team.
So it's like
Like a manager. Yeah.
In a-
Batman
in the-
does that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
in
Well,
the Young
Outsiders
Justice
is his
show,
team.
he does that.
Like he created that team. That's his. Like the Outsiders is a brand that Batman created.
He's
So-
he's doing brand control. Like he
Exactly.
pops in
Yeah.
a bit to make sure they're not like smearing his name, and then he steps back. He's like, "All right, y'all do what
Yeah.
you do."
Right.
Yeah,
Listen,
Black. Oh, Katana. That's the one I can't think of.
Oh, listen, we
Katana's
do
on.
a weekly news show. Like every week we do new books. I'm gonna read all these books because it's only
That's-
3 or.
all you
Okay,
got to
I got
read.
it now. The two people I kept forgetting. And, I mean, can you blame me? Duke was the other one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's where
So
he
it's
is.
Black Lightning, Orphan, Katana, Duke, and then Batman shows up. But it's mostly the other 4,
Like
and then
bookends.
Batman's like, "I'm here, guys. Don't worry. What happened? Did I miss something?"
Did I miss something? Right.
All right, so May 12th, we got Harley Quinn 72, which that book has gone off the rails since Amanda Conner left it.
Yeah.
Oh, she left it? I did not know that.
Like 30 issues ago.
Okay. I mean, I don't read it, but she's been part of that book forever. So
Yeah, it's Sam Humphries, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been Sam Humphries for a little while. He's done some good work on it. There was a weird
that
middle
makes
ground where
sense,
she went to
then.
Darkseid and became a Fury, though.
Incidentally, by the way, this issue teases Booster Gold, and they're throwing away all the Tom King stuff with him.
That checks out.
Hard to
Don't
believe.
do that. I loved having my jokester broken.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
Booster Gold, murderer.
And then Justice League 44, which is when they just dropped everything that was going on with the Doom War.
Finally.
Justice League Odyssey, Lois Lane number 10 of 12. Oh, I didn't know Lois Lane was limited.
I mean, maybe it wasn't
That
gonna
makes
be.
sense.
And Metal Men, I heard that was starting. It's on issue 6.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings of that.
I want to read that.
Incidentally, written by Dan DiDio, formerly of DC Comics.
What?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
It was supposed to come out
Is that
April
not going to
1st.
finish?
I doubt it. Well, no, it won't. There's no way.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I'll definitely just be a writer for DC.
That's not gonna happen. He's not gonna
No.
turn into Jeff Johns. He's gone. Like,
Yeah, you'll get like DiDio books, and he'll create his own label, and you'll hire him to write your books. Nope.
he'll go work
What do you
on
think about
Spawn
those
or
books? The
something.
Justice League books, the Harley Quinn book. What do you think, Des? You gonna read any of that one?
I'll definitely check out. You said Justice League Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep continue with that. I've been keeping up with that so far.
I
see
want
what
to get
else.
back onto it. I heard they turned Jessica Cruz into like Omega Lantern beyond like overpowered.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm right before that. I'm right
Okay,
before that
all right.
because because it turned out with the whole thing with the Ghost Sector, like she was the only one who Darkseid didn't lure there, so like she wasn't supposed to be there. And it kind of flipped on its head to where Darkseid is using everyone else who he lured out there, and Jessica Cruz is the only one who can kind of stop what's going on.
Okay. That's cool. All right, yeah, because my brother was reading it, and he's been all about it. So is one of my other co-hosts, my producer, Dan. He's been reading it. They keep telling me to get back onto it, but I fell off early on. I think pretty early on. It was like issue 6 or 7, but when Azrael discovered that there was another Azrael that was in his original costume, and I'm like, ugh, this is getting... So now we have Space Batman versus original version of Azrael, and
They had the whole
God.
church of Azrael out there. It was
Yeah,
great.
that's what I mean, yeah. I
got
like
jumped by the
Azrael. I
congregation.
don't like Azrael as Space Batman. I was like, you just brought Batman out there. What the fuck?
I mean, it was cool though, because like when the congregation found out that Azrael wasn't trying to be the Azrael they had hoped him to be, like the whole church just jumped him. So it was pretty cool.
All right, so these all sound to me like nice testers.
Yeah.
You know,
That last week seems more like a regular week that's just cut down in numbers, because the
Yeah.
first two there was like one or two big books, but there's a couple Justice Leagues, and you said Harley Quinn as well.
Yeah.
And the May
Lois
12th,
Lane.
So Lois Lane. So that I feel like if that's like the standard going forward for at least a little bit, or for like the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Like that seems like a nice amount of books, and I don't read that much DC, but maybe because there's not so much out there, I'll try some new stuff.
That's the thing, and this could be the big thing that like ushers in like a better time for comics, where it's like, hey, DC had 4 books this week. Maybe you'll read 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like that's not bad. And well, but like, and then hey, like next week, or the next day, Image comes out. Like maybe you'll pick up 1 or 2 because it's there, and because there's nothing new right now. Like that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Could be cool.
That's true.
I'm curious about a little bit about the Tuesday release thing. Do you think?
Yeah.
And maybe even just like personally speaking, because if let's say Marvel releases books on Monday, DC continues to release on Tuesday, and everyone else on Wednesday, or they pick a Monday or a Tuesday. Do you think people are going to continue to just go to Wednesday to get everything in one fell swoop, or
No.
they're gonna go each day?
They're gonna go every day.
That's crazy to me.
I think so, because like based on how crowded it is on Wednesday,
Yeah.
in the morning, the reason they're there Wednesday morning is so they could get them as soon as humanly possible.
Right.
It's like, you know, those midnight releases, like why anyone shows up to those is so they can get them first.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell people like, hey, books are going to come out, like, hey, you could get the books will be there on Wednesday, or you can get them tomorrow. Like,
I mean, the couple of times, like the wedding, they had the early releases. Video games have done that forever. I don't know why comics have like been so iffy on it.
Yeah.
Before I move into my final topic, which is talking about what you do, Dope. I'm going to call you Dope for now, just for branding purposes. Dopespill.
So good.
Yeah. But I just want you guys to know, as we're having this discussion, Fuddruckers is trending in the United States.
Oh, hell yeah.
I clicked it to see why.
Oh, no.
Fuddruckers, for those of you guys who don't know, is a burger joint.
Yeah, we got one right around the corner.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
One.
Because apparently Wisconsin, from what I'm reading here, is having their protest of reopening up everything with the slogan, Open Fuddruckers. I don't know what part of that I missed. I thought the out of context
Fantastic.
note would be the funniest.
They're just big fans of Fuddruckers down there.
Right?
Let them be who they want to be.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. That is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
see
a lot
what
of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people fighting for Fuddruckers. Did they come out and be like, yo, if you don't reopen Wisconsin, we're closing? And that started this?
Yeah.
I think half of those people just want to go outside.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I'm standing up for my right to die for Fuddruckers.
Right.
I want a greasy burger and endless fries.
I mean, they are good burgers. I'll give them that. But
I get the ostrich burger when I'm at Fuddruckers.
Ooh,
The
fancy.
I didn't know they had that.
Well, they have them in my area because there's an ostrich farm around the corner. So
Oh, okay.
They
I was like,
rebranded
you
that's
can
a
get
normal
special. You can get a
menu.
buffalo burger, I'll bet. You know,
I'll ask down here. They'll probably look at me crazy.
they probably will, but they're good, by the way.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did
So
like
I
a
think today's
huge
been a fun
rebrand
episode.
while
We're going
ago.
to start winding it down. We don't have much more information. Just as you can tell, comics are changing. Like I said a week ago.
Right.
Go figure.
Benny was right.
Wait. Do I get to tell the entire internet? I told you so.
Nope, they're dead. They're dead. Comics are
God damn
dead.
it.
No more comics.
Yep.
But our two guests are great. You guys are awesome. You've been a great part of this discussion. Des, your channel is Dopespill Comics. Do you want to do a little pitch? Tell people what you do for the people who have made it to the end of the podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm Des from Dopespill Comics, and I pretty much just talk about everything comics. I go through a number of different events and just kind of clear up things that people either may have questions about or connections from one issue to the next, and dig a little bit deeper into the characters or perhaps things that you may have missed reading the comics yourself. My channel is very story driven. I like to reference a lot of things to certain stories or events, but really get into some of the things that are kind of in between the lines that sometimes we miss the first time around reading comics, and kind of just put a microscope on that and just kind of dig deeper into the story itself. But very story driven.
Nice.
Yeah, your channel comes up recommended to me all the time. I'm not going to lie. Some of my ideas have come out of what I've seen on your channel. Oh, that's a cool
Appreciate
idea.
it.
Oh, it got so many views. What can I do?
I appreciate it.
You've got great thumbnails too. They're very
Yeah, you do.
eye-catching.
Thank you.
Dylan, I mean, you're pseudo-regular here. Why don't you tell them what you do, though, in case you ever make a video again?
What? I just released one like 2 days ago.
I know, and you only did that because we cut down on the workload over at my end.
Well, it was also because I wanted something to promote. I know what I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm Dylan. I run the channel Auram's Corner. I do like 50% comic book stuff, 50% like microphone reviews and whatever the hell else I think of to make. I just released a video, like I mentioned, going over the history and continuity ongoings of Thor's arm or arms. It's a fun
I've seen that
video.
one.
I had a fun time with it. I also on this channel, Comicstorian, do the What If show, which you might like if you are a Comicstorian fan, because it's similar to the complete story. We take a look at What If and Elseworlds books from Marvel and DC, and I try to throw in some commentary and little fun tidbits in there to keep it interesting and also make it more distinct from Benny's stuff, so that I'm not just carbon copying
it gives me a break, guys, and I appreciate you guys all going to it and enjoying his work.
Yeah, that's me.
Anything else, Dad?
No.
Okay. And Sal, since this is technically a comics experiment and you're not technically a regular guest on this.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sal. I'm from the
I
YouTube
like-
channel ComicPOP.
Hold on. I loved your reaction to, I would love a plug, Benny. That's basically what I heard.
Yeah.
Why
Benny,
not?
don't forget me.
But no, hello, welcome to this great show. I'm Sal. I run a YouTube channel called ComicPOP. It's me and my friends. We talk about comics. That's it. We just talk about comics in some form or another. I think you're really gonna enjoy it if you think comics are kind of funny.
If you like long form discussion and sometimes comedic takes on comics, and you're like bored in quarantine right now, ComicPOP is a great thing to throw on in the background.
Yeah, thank you.
If you like this style of show, where it's like an hour-long discussion and fun, that's why these are the best ones for promotion for you.
I will
and don't
fill a
forget,
day.
Sal and I also do our Tuesday show on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Comicstorian, where we do shows on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and we do Absolute Comics, which is what these topical stuff normally ends up on. While Comics Experiment, we do more fun kind of spitballs and discussions. That one's more topical stuff, and that is on our other channel, the Absolute Comics channel, where right now it's the only show going up because we can't. We'll finally have comics to review.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think comics have actually
don't
been
forget
talked
today's
about.
sponsor is Honey, and you can go to joinhoney.com/RNBE, and I'm sure we told you about it, a little bit about it in the middle during Dylan's bathroom break.
I drank too much water. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Des. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Sal, for doing this last-second impromptu comics experiment. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week right here with a more proper episode with the appropriate hosts. That made us sound wrong. You know what I mean.
The better hosts.
Right.